Hey, welcome back guys. In this video, we're going to talk about ProTee VX ball and club data and hopefully give you guys an idea of how it works. You may have seen I released a ProTee VX versus GCQuad kind of accuracy test comparison video. ProTee VX did very well, but it brought up kind of a lot of questions about how it works and maybe how it works differently compared to some other launch monitors like Foresight and like Uneekor. In that video, I did have the Foresight reflective stickers all over my clubs. That was a potential cause of interference, plus having both launch monitors recording the same shot was definitely a likely cause of interference. You could see in that video, the ProTee ball spin video, just like a flashing on that ball, which kind of wash out the graphics on the golf ball, which could certainly cause some spin misreads or whatnot. So in this video, I'm just gonna hit some shots with different clubs without stickers on the club face, and we're gonna look at some different golf balls as well. I play just a regular Pro V1 on the golf course, and so that's what I use in the simulator. I would always recommend you use whatever ball you play on the course in the simulator because different balls are gonna give you different amounts of spin, different carry, different ball flight, all of that. So if you can, play the same golf ball in your simulator. I have a gap wedge, no stickers on it. And over here in ProTee, let's talk about club data first. One of the things that came up was the difference in face angle and face to path between ProTee and GCQuad. The video is really helpful. So if you look at the shot video here, you can see this orange line is kind of representing the face angle at impact, which it's saying is 5.1 degrees closed to the target. And you can see it looks like it lines up pretty well depending on where the frame is captured with kind of the leading edge or the grooves of the golf ball at impact. And you can see the blue line here is the swing path, which is saying 2.7 in to out. Any two launch monitors, they can measure club data differently. In most cases, most club data, there's not a specific definition of how and when to measure it. With Foresight, for example, you've got stickers all over the face, which creates a plane of the club face. That plane is what they're measuring as open or closed, and they measure it at the first point of contact. I've got a video talking about this compared to TrackMan and how it measures club data, because TrackMan will measure it at the geometric center of the club head, which for a driver, the club head can be, huge. The geometric center would be somewhere behind the face. That's different. Plus, when it's measured is different because TrackMan will measure it at the point of maximum compression of the golf ball, which is different than first contact with the golf ball. Those are two, really the leaders in launch monitors, most used by tour players and whatnot, and they do it differently. So they're gonna give you different numbers. So it's just kind of which one you're used to, and you wanna obviously work on that relative to previous swings, not kind of jump between launch monitors. So in the case of ProTee, I don't know exactly when it kind of takes these measurements and how it's taking the measurements. I'm just looking at the images and kind of guessing that it's kind of looking at the leading edge or something close. What we saw in that GCQuad comparison video, the higher the loft, the bigger the difference between the two. I think there's something to that. It doesn't mean that the ProTee is giving a bad measurement. It's just measuring it how ProTee does it. I think that's important just to put out there. Let's hit another shot and we'll talk about what I do know, how ProTee does their club data without stickers. Not great. That one a little bit more neutral on the face, but it was low and not the greatest contact. Definitely low on the face here if you look at the impact location. Another video on the channel, if you haven't seen it, is the interview with ProTee at the PGA show just a couple of months ago. And they kind of explained to me how they're able to get club data without using stickers like pretty much everybody else. And they are using AI. And my first thought was that I'm a little skeptical of AI, but the way that they explained it is they loaded a bunch of pictures of golf clubs, club heads, irons, wedges, drivers, putters, so that the AI learned what a golf club looks like, what a club face is. And so the AI can then recognize the club face as it's coming into impact. And I don't know this for a fact, but I think I saw somewhere that it kind of places digital markers on the club face. Just the way that you would have stickers on the club face, it sees that club face and puts them on there so that it can track it as it goes through impact. So it's not doing kind of a math equation by maybe just tracking the club speed and then taking all the ball data and then filling in the blanks, just using some algebra to kind of get club path and face angle and all that based on what the ball did. If you think about it, the AI is kind of placing digital stickers on the club as it's going through. So that made a lot of sense to me. And I can just say that it seems very, very consistent so far. Very interesting that they're able to do it that way. Right. And it seems pretty reliable so far. Let's talk about the golf ball. Up in the corner here of ProTee Labs, we've got the golf ball spinning. You've got actual video of the ball spinning and you can see the logo there. The video on the top left corner is the ball spin validator. And the way that that was explained to me is that if the logos are spinning the same direction as these colored markers on the golf ball, you can validate that it captured the spin correctly. You kind of just watch it, the ball's going back and forth, or the video's playing back and forth. And this one is kind of tough to see, but if you look at the logos across the bottom, you can kind of see that green one tracked there. There's the Titleist with that purple one. You can just kind of validate that it was correct. And that's important because that's how ProTee measures the spin. It needs the logos, the writing, the graphics on the golf ball to measure that spin. Now, Foresight and Uneekor, they actually don't need that. Their cameras lock on to individual dimples on the golf ball. So it doesn't really matter what logo, how much logos are on the ball. In the case of ProTee, it does need some kind of graphic on there, like a plain white, all white golf ball is not gonna work. With that said, ProTee says that you can use any golf ball as long as it's like a standard one that says Titleist or Callaway or whatnot. And so far, I have not really seen any issues that I'm aware of with spin, just using it like normal, how you're supposed to. But if we switch up to driver, you'll see like this one with the gap wedge at 9,400 RPM, you can see that logo pretty clearly in the ball spin video. But as we crank up the ball speed with the driver, that ball is going to go faster with less spin, and it's going to be harder for even me to see the logo on the video. Pretty good one for me. Oh, I forgot to change my club in GS Pro to driver, so it's still showing the iron graphic up there. But we've got the shot video. You can see that was hit center of the face. And if we look at the ball spin video, you can see really that logo is only just kind of wiggling a little bit because there's a lot less time to capture that spin when the ball is going about 149 miles an hour. You can see the ball spin validator, same thing. That logo is just kind of wiggling back and forth, but you can see that blue marker is right on that logo tracking it. So it looks like it captured everything correctly, but knowing how ProTee is capturing the spin and actually providing these videos and seeing the difference like between a wedge and a driver kind of gives you an idea of where it might struggle, if it does, and where it would be really easy. And like I've said, I haven't really hit any shot in the few weeks that I've had the ProTee VX where I've said, hey, that was the wrong ball flight, it missed it, or I haven't caught the ball spin validator not working. So it is working with a regular plain Pro V1. I did just pick up a box of these TaylorMade TP5 Pix balls. I picked these up because actually the Square can use these now. But obviously I just wanted to see the difference with the ProTee VX and the ball spin video when you've got one of these, you know, crazy patterns on the golf ball. There's really no area that you don't have a logo or like a graphic on the ball. That one was a little extra spinny. But I mean, you see there, you've got the graphics on the ball spin video. There's nothing you can do about the ball speed. That one about 148 miles an hour, but you can see easily in the ball spin validator that those markers track those logos in the exact same direction. Unfortunately, I can't hit the ball much faster than that. I kind of top out in the low 150s. So you guys that are in the higher range, up there 165, 170 or more, I don't know, you can kind of see that, unfortunately I can't test it, but that faster speed with a minimally marked golf ball might be tough. You may want to make sure you're using a ball with a lot of logos or graphics on it. With me, around 150 mile an hour ball speed, regular Pro V1 is working just fine. Just for fun, let's just hit a flop shot, because I like showing kind of both extremes, like really fast, really slow. We'll use this TP5 Pix ball here. Just try to hit a little flop shot. You can see the other end of capturing spin. That went about 14 yards, and you look at that shot video. I mean, look how clearly you can see that spinning. This is actually a good example here of the face angle. So in this, because it's so slow and it's so extreme, you can actually see the grooves on the golf club and this orange line, which is the face angle. In this case, 19.4 degrees open to the target because I had club face wide open, and you can see that this orange line really matches up with the grooves on the golf club. Like with the video, seeing is believing. There's really nothing to question if you're watching the video. So back to that Pro V1, I'll do a flop shot with that one. 15 yards. There we go. So in this case, I mean, you can still see that Pro V1 spinning easily, and you can see that face angle 20 degrees open, kind of matching up with the grooves perfectly there as well at impact. A pretty cool view. One thing to note, and this is just something that I don't know if there's anything to it or not, but if you play these Pro V1s especially, they're very bad at the logos getting rubbed off basically the more you play with them, right? And it's just writing for the most part anyways. So this one is worn down. It's the only worn down one I have here. It's actually a Titleist RCT Pro V1. But let me hit this gap wedge again so you can see what it looks like when it's pretty worn down. And you can see on that spin validator and the ball spin video, those logos are worn down, they're hard to see. So if it's hard for me to see, it's probably harder for the camera to see. That's just something that hasn't been a problem, but I've kept my eye on. As that ball gets more used, I'm kind of tossing them before they get to a point like that. If you can imagine a worn down ball where only part of the logo is visible and you've got high ball speed, 160, 170, that's gonna be really tough. And again, I wish I could test it, but I can't. So it's just kind of understanding how the ProTee works, and you can actually see in the video. So it's really, really cool. I guess the last thing that I'll say is that I've been using it for a few weeks. I've been playing on GS Pro, and just anecdotally, I have not seen any accuracy issues. I haven't seen any shots that were not what I expected, and even the club data has been very, very consistent and reliable. So just kind of wanted to show the ProTee, hit some shots without other launch monitors next to it or other launch monitor stickers all over the clubs, and give you guys an idea of how the technology works. So if you have any questions, leave them down below. And if you haven't subscribed, please make sure to subscribe, and it helps me out. Thanks guys, see you in the next one.